let it be seen that I entered the stage with my mask on. And I am going to take it off because I am distanced from the gathered audience. And having defined that there is this social distance and having surveyed the audience, and I'm seeing that about 70% of the audience is in mask, it is going to be a requirement shortly for all our citizens to return to wearing their masks. As you know, we are in the fifth wave, and it will be a continuing feature of life going forward that we will, for some time, be experiencing recurrent bouts of increased infections from this disease. It is called the endemic phase, meaning that the disease is becoming a part of our daily routine. After 2 years, everyone should know how to behave in order to protect themselves from the virus. First order of business, get vaccinated. Some people don't want to do it. Some people have done it. What we know is that the vaccination program has saved lives and has reduced hospitalization. That is what we know. So some people would have decided to be enlightened about this matter, and they would have taken their vaccination and even their booster shots. Others would have said, I will take my chances, and they would have probably gotten inoculated naturally, meaning that they would have acquired and obviously be infected, and people are getting ill. Thankfully, we are not seeing the infections and the illness translating so far into hospitalization, serious hospitalization. We do maintain our capacity of beds in the hospital, but you would note that for the government to have had this great standing capacity to serve the infections, it would have meant that we would have redirected resources from other illnesses and other urgent treatment, and the health sector had to go back to treat with the operations and the services for which other citizens were deprived in order to treat with the pandemic. We don't want to go back to that situation again. So I am urging all Jamaicans to act responsibly. Act responsibly. And we know what to do. Let me repeat. If you haven't yet gotten your vaccine, vaccine sites are still open and vaccination is ongoing. Please get vaccinated. Wear your mask, particularly if you are indoors, but wear your mask generally. Maintain social distance, and social distance is what you would consider to be spatial awareness, being aware of the people around you and the spaces that you are in. In Jamaica, we don't pay much attention to personal space. It is not our culture. So everybody rub up on everybody, right? But personal space is you maintain a decent distance from each other. Certainly when we are having these waves and these spikes, you would want to have a little more space and distance. But you would also want to be conscious of how you gather in crowds. So if you're seeing, more than a certain number, let's say 10 persons gathered, you would want to be careful how you go within crowds. If you're in public transportation where social distancing may not be possible, ensure that you wear your mask, carry your hand sanitizer with you, right? Sanitization of the hands, very important, and it has proven to slow the transmission. These are just some things that you can do. If you are ill And with all that is happening now, there are other kinds of respiratory illnesses going around. But generally, if you are ill, particularly with any form of respiratory illness, you would want to try and take stock. Get tested, stay at home, isolate yourself a little bit until you know exactly what is the situation, so that you don't pass it on to others, right? Stay away, if you are ill, definitely from persons who are considered to be in the vulnerable group. And if you are in the vulnerable group, you should be even more cautious about how you conduct yourself. So, you know, in our society, everybody's quick to blame and cast blame. But one thing is certain, as your Prime Minister, I have been very consistent in preaching this message of social responsibility and how our society must adjust to managing the effects of the pandemic. So, having said that, and I hope that is not the lead story for the news, because I have other matters.